Layers of the atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere has layers. There are 4 layers in Earth's atmosphere, each with its own properties: the Troposphere, the Stratosphere, the Mesosphere, the Thermosphere, and then sometimes the Exosphere. Though most of the books that you'll see, or most of the information that you'll see, will have the Thermosphere divided up into the Ionosphere and Exosphere. The lower layers include the Troposphere and the Stratosphere. The upper atmospheric layers are the Mesosphere, Thermosphere, and Exosphere. The Troposphere and the Stratosphere contain most of the air. The reason being is that gravitational pull of our planet keeps most of the air molecules trapped close to the surface. As we get farther and farther away from the surface of our planet, gravitational pull is not as strong, therefore there's not as many air molecules that are trapped the farther away from the surface you get. You study, eat, sleep, and play in the Troposphere, which is the lowest of Earth's atmospheric layers. It contains 99% of the water vapor and 75% of the atmospheric gases. The Stratosphere is a layer directly above the Troposphere, and it extends from 10 kilometers above Earth's surface to about 50 kilometers. A portion of the stratosphere contains higher levels of gases called ozone. Remember that each ozone molecule is made up of 3 oxygen atoms that are bonded together. Also recall that ozone helps to protect us from ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Ultraviolet radiation is known to cause cancer and skin burns. So the ozone layer is extremely important to us. Now, if that ozone ends up in the troposphere, it is a type of pollution, and it can cause problems with cells of living things, and also with buildings and other things that we create as men. The Mesosphere extends from the top of the stratosphere to about 85 kilometers above Earth. The Thermosphere is named for its high temperatures, and again, the Thermosphere contains both the Ionosphere and the Exosphere. These layers of the atmosphere are the upper layers of the atmosphere. The Thermosphere is the thickest atmospheric layer, and it is found between 85 kilometers and 500 kilometers above our planet. Within the Thermosphere is a layer of electrically charged particles called the Ionosphere. The Ionosphere allows radio waves to travel across the country from one city to another. During the day, energy from the sun interacts with the particles of the ionosphere, causing them to absorb AM radio frequencies. When the sun goes down, and there is no solar energy to interact with the ionosphere, AM radio waves can be transmitted all the way across the country. So give this a try tonight when you go home. Turn on the AM radio. Push the scan button and see how many radio stations come in so that you can hear them. Wait until night falls and do the same thing again. You will notice there's a far greater number of radio stations that you can hear at night versus during the day. And sometimes you even pick up some weird radio stations from places like Seattle, Washington, Boise, Idaho, Dallas, Texas. And those radio stations come in very clear. The space shuttle orbits our planet in the exosphere. And again, recall that the exosphere is considered part of the thermosphere. The exosphere has so few molecules that the wings of the shuttle, of the space shuttle, are actually useless. In the exosphere, the spacecraft will rely on bursts from small rockets called thrusters to move around. Recall that wings on airplanes, they are based on this concept of lift. Lift only occurs when air molecules are coming in contact with the wings. If there are very few air molecules, lift cannot occur. Therefore, the wings of the space shuttle are useless once we get outside of Earth's main atmosphere. Beyond the exosphere is outer space. And recall that outer space is a complete vacuum. There are no air molecules floating around in the vacuum of space. Once we get outside the exosphere, there are not any air molecules or gas molecules out there.
Hello out there. I'm Rainy Raindrop, and I want to tell you some things about our atmosphere. The troposphere is the layer of atmosphere of which we live and breathe. Most of the day-to-day weather occurs right here in the troposphere. The average depth of the troposphere is approximately 17 kilometers, 11 miles, in the middle latitudes. It is deeper in the tropical regions, up to 20 kilometers, 12 miles, and shallower near the poles. The layer I'm entering now is the stratosphere. Have you ever been on a jet plane? That's where jet planes fly to avoid harsh weather. Here's my pal, Ozone. Ollie helps protect us from harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun. Ollie and his friends form a layer within the stratosphere called the ozone layer. The stratosphere reaches a height of about 50 kilometers. Now I'm in the mesosphere. The mesosphere is the coldest layer of the atmosphere. Did you know that millions of meteors enter this layer every day and are destroyed by the collision between the molecules? The mesosphere reaches a height of about 80 kilometers. I am now entering the thermosphere. It has no definite outer limit. It is made up of two layers. The bottom layer is called the Ionosphere. Early radio stations used the Ionosphere to bounce back radio signals to the Earth. The second layer of the thermosphere is called the Exosphere. Satellites orbit the Earth in the exosphere. Communication satellites and global positioning satellites are just some of the types of satellites found here. Now I'm in outer space, and look, there's the moon! I'm going to explore some places. See ya!